Coucou mes chéris! As you know, I am a vintage and thrifting addict, and I thought I might share with you in today's video my favorite place in France to go thrifting. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm addicted to vintage. I work for myself, obviously, and therefore shopping online is way more practical because realistically, most of my time spent vintage shopping is in the evenings when thrift stores are closed. But when I do go to a thrift store in France, it is almost exclusively Emmaüs France, which is a charity store. I guess for Australians it would be like the equivalent of the Salvos. Emmaüs France is a solidarity movement that fights poverty and social exhaustion by collecting, repairing and reselling donated goods. When you shop at Emmaüs, your purchases directly support community programs that provide housing, work opportunities and social support to people in need. There are two reasons that I really like shopping here. One, because they are not vintage specific stores. You find all sorts of things there. You have to dig. It is like a day out and I like that. It's sort of like an activity for the day. And secondly, by shopping there, you are supporting a charity that is doing really good work in France, and you're also upcycling goods. You are reusing things that would otherwise go to waste. So you're not lining the pockets of billionaires, which is always a bonus. So I went to two different Emmaüs this week with Val's mum and my sister-in-law. We went to a slightly smaller one that is not far from Val's family home. It's about 20 minutes away, and to a bigger one that is in Dijon. So I will show you what I got from the small Emmaüs first. When I say small, it's still like a warehouse size. If you went to a farm and you went into one of a farm's giant shed, they have secondhand clothing, secondhand furniture, secondhand electronics, sewing machines, waffle makers, accessories, jewelry, knickknacks, you name it. And if you are after vintage furniture, this especially is very easy to find at an Emmaüs. Finding vintage clothing can be quite difficult. I think there are probably specialists who go and raid the Emmaüs stores on a very regular basis to get that stuff as soon as it arrives, so it's quite hard to find. But if you want to get beautiful like 1950s and 60s kitchens, like entire kitchens with all the appliances, if you want to buy furniture, chairs, couches, old radios from the like 20s through to the 1960s, these are all really cheap. I'm talking like 10 euros and at most Emmaüs stores, because they're just not trendy in France. That's not like in Australia to buy mid-century stuff. It is really trendy at the moment and very, very highly priced. Whereas in France, that is not à la mode at all. So if you're wanting to deck your house out in France in a mid-century style, Emmaüs is the place to go. So at this first Emmaüs, the first thing I stumbled across was patterns. They in fact did not have any vintage clothing patterns. Everything was at the very earliest, the 1970s. Most of it was 80s and 90s. But I did spot this little baby here. It is a vintage kids costume for a genie outfit, and it does say multi-size. I might find I need to size it up considerably when I make it, but I had visions of making an I Dream of Genie outfit with this because it has the chiffon pants, it has the vest, it has the little crop top, everything. So yeah, I saw this and immediately thought I Dream of Genie. I don't know when I will make that video, but one day I'm going to make an I Dream of Genie outfit and do the hair and makeup from I Dream of Genie, because 60s perfection, what can I say? Then I found some gloves. These are like a dusty rose pink. I'm not sure that will show up on camera, but they are a very thick material. And I'll put one on for you. I have gloves in white and in black. And in grey, in this length, I have them in grey. In black and white, I have much longer ones, but they're a really nice length for cropped jackets. I have a number of cropped jackets for 1950s and 60s outfits. So that's perfect. It cuts off here, or you can bunch them up to make them a bit shorter, like so. Yeah, in that beautiful dusty pink. They're almost like slightly shimmery and very pretty. And the last thing that I nabbed at the smaller of the two Emmaüs was this little brooch here. It is like a giant pearl inside a half moon on like a miniature hat pin style. So it might technically be a hat pin, but I have been wearing it as a brooch. I was wearing it in a video that I filmed earlier this week that you guys probably got before this one. Yeah, so there she is on. Thought she was very cute. She had to come home with me. I paid a grand total of €3 for all three of those things, which I thought was a massive bargain. So thank you, Emmaüs. Then we went to the second, even bigger Emmaüs. This one has buildings with big signs on it that actually have the theme of whatever is inside. So there's like a machinery and wood tech and tools building, just full of anything that you could imagine that you might want in your shed to renovate your house, to build things. They have a whole shed just for that. There's another shed that's full of electronics, old toasters, like you name it, anything electronic that you can think of. Another section that is just clothing, shoes, and accessories. And then a whole nother section that is more sort of bric-a-brac, which is where I tend to find a lot of vintage accessories, brooches, jewelry, vases, just sort of general, decor, bric-a-brac, records, things like that. That's my favorite shed at this particular store. And here I picked up a couple of absolutely gorgeous vintage handbags. So the first one I spotted was this Python bag. You can see it up close here. She needs a good oiling. She's very flaky, but she should come up all right once I put some balm on her. She's got a very interesting clasp that sort of like pops up. You'll see like here, it slides into this piece here. She needs a good oiling, so I don't want to yank her open too much, but there is no label, there is no hardware on her. And I have seen similar styles to this clutch listed as being from anywhere from the 1930s to the 1970s, almost all identical to each other. So clearly people have a hard time dating these, but I did spot one that was listed by a professional antiques dealer, and it was a labeled bag. So it came from a well-known brand, and they were actually able to date it to the year that it was released, which was 1953. I saw lots of other ones listed as 1940s, and I'm going to say, given that it has no hardware on it, it is all hand stitched. This is not machine stitched at all. I'm going to say this is 40s or 50s. That's my guess. People who know more about bags than me, I would love your guess as to when you think this bag is from, but to me, it has a very 1940s handbag style to it, and the fact that there is not even one piece of hardware or metal on it anywhere sort of speaks more 30s to 40s to me, but I don't think she's 1930s, so I'd love your thoughts. This is the other bag that I spotted just afterwards. It is an alligator bag in black with gold hardware. She's got a pop opening on her, and she has a satin lining. She is in almost perfect condition with just a couple of little nicks where her folds are on the bottom, but otherwise she is an absolute beauty. I'm laughing because Louis is snoring up a storm behind me. I find this shape of bag very hard to date because you can find them anywhere from the 50s to the 70s. It doesn't look 70s enough to me to be from the 70s. I'm going to say 1960s. The 50s had slightly more slouchy styles, I want to say, and not so much framework. There were frame bags from the 50s, but they were more a softer leather and more slouchy. I don't know how else to say. They didn't have so much hardware on it. So I'm going to say 60s for this one, just given that it's quite a simple design. I don't think it's 70s because it doesn't have enough of a hippie-esque vibe to me. But again, I would love to hear your input on what era you think it is from. My phone has died on me, so I'm sorry about the audio, but I'm going to have to do the rest of my audio on the camera audio, and it is a little bit echoey in this house, so sorry. But the last thing I picked up from Emmaüs is an entire ball of different colored vintage zips in different lengths and colors. Anytime I spot a vintage zip, metal zip, in a variety of colors, I almost always pick them up because I never know what color fabric I'm going to find. I do tend to source secondhand fabric, and I just spot something pretty online. There are all sorts of different colors, and so I'm never prepared with the right color zip. So I just try to collect as many different colors in as many different lengths as I possibly can. So I always have the type of zip on hand that I need for any given project. And all of those, I think I got 9 in total, were €1 for the whole bunch. So an absolute bargain. I am going to share 2 extra bonus things with you that did not come from Emmaüs. They actually come from Vinted, but that I got delivered here in Dijon whilst I was staying here. The first one being this bracelet here. I'm going to take her off for you guys so you can see. I recently showed you another one in gold. Now that I have her, I think this one was once gold and has had all the gold rubbed off her, and so now she looks silver. But I wonder if you'll see up close. You can kind of see the bare remnants of gold on her. She is a coral bracelet. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see, but I'm going to try. Hold her up really close. So in here on the clasp, you can see the word Coro written. Hopefully, if I angle it correctly, you'll be able to see. But yes, that is my first piece of Coro jewelry. She was on my wish list for a really long time. She will get a lot of wear. I wear my gold one almost every day. So now I have one in silver to go with my silver jewelry. And the other piece that I spotted on Vinted, oh my gosh, I shouldn't really have bought this because I spent a lot of money on other people's Christmas presents and I should be saving money. But when I saw her and for the price that I saw her at, you will see why I had to make this mine. She is a 1950s satin and chiffon evening dress, wiggle style evening dress. I'll put her on so you can see her, but she's got these beautiful big roses all over her. And at the back, she's got this sash detail. Just, oh my God. It didn't even go on my wish list. I just saw it and was like, I have to take that. There's no way I'm not buying that. So I hope she fits me. It was listed as a medium, but we're about to find out whether I can fit her on me or not. Okay, I can tell she's had some very strange alterations made to her across the hips, because this side has got like a bit that sticks up and this has got a bit that's like puckered. It's definitely not a couturier choice. It has been messed with by someone who has no idea what they're doing, but I think it will be an easy enough fix. It just needs to be realigned. And the chiffony piece is pinned in a way that's actually flattering. It doesn't just look like a mess, but the bones of her are stunning. I'm so pleased that I grabbed this, and luckily I have been practicing my sewing skills and I think I can handle fixing her. And I think she will go really nicely with my gloves. That all dovetailed really well. So there we go, guys. Another little vintage haul. There's been a lot of vintage hauls lately. I need to settle down. What I need to do is start selling vintage, because a lot of the stuff that I buy, I'm either immediately going to resell, or with the nature of my job, I need to have more inspiration, more ideas, more creativity in terms of my outfits. So I do change over my wardrobe quite a lot. And also, you know, my taste changes. And so I let go of things that I really loved wearing 10 years ago that now aren't really my style and can be loved and worn by someone else. So I'm excited to be able to sell my vintage again very soon. I'm waiting for my business to be approved here in France, which hopefully it will be within the next couple of months, and I'll be able to start selling it again at around March. And I will be doing what I did in the past, which is listing items first and foremost in my Instagram stories with the opportunity to buy them there at a slightly discounted rate. And if they don't sell in the 24 hours on stories, they go onto my Vinted at a slightly higher amount for fees. And of course, the cost of shipping is added on top of that too. So yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.